Alright, I'm about to do a complete brew on the German Oktoberfest Brewer's Fest. There's been several videos on YouTube, but I don't think they showed the complete deal. So I'm going to go step-by-step instructions right off the sheet. And I've kind of already started. Wasn't planning on it, but well, I got going here. So step one was to bring the water up to about 165. And I put my bag in there and it's doing its thing, it looks like. Smells good. I've got a 10-gallon brew pot, which was recommended by the brew shop. I've got my wort chilling bucket here ready to go. Here's my homemade wort chiller, which I'll get back to that when we get ready. I got a little 2-burner setup on propane, doing it outside. I'm going to go step by step. So this is step one. I'm going to do the complete lager fermentation and the whole deal all the way up to 5 weeks from now. Taste it. So there you go. Okay, well, my grains are steeping. I'm going to go ahead and run my extracts through some warm water. I guess it's kind of like peanut butter in there, so we're going to loosen up a little bit. So I'm going to let the grains steep for 20 minutes, as the instructions say, and pour these in just a minute. Here's my fermentation bucket, which I have some sanitizer in here, sanitizing the hose I'm going to be using later, and the lid, and we'll get to that here very shortly. But I'm on step 3 of the instructions, and we're going to boil after that. Okay, just getting ready to pull the grains out here in a minute. Here's all my ingredients. I got a dry malt extract, got some hops, got some Australian Helga, and the lager yeast. And of course, this is a beer drinking event. I started at 2:30. My water was 80 degrees. 3 o'clock it reached 160. 3:15 I put it in the bag. 3:35 I'm going to take it out. Let's take a look over here. Starting to look a little beery, isn't it? Smells good. Got about 3 more minutes on this. I'm going to pull it. Okay, it's been 20 minutes, like the instructions. I have no idea what it's supposed to look like, but that's what 20 minutes of steeping looks like. I've got my liquid extract over here ready to go. So I'm going to pull this bag out and let it hang here for a minute. Kind of says don't squeeze it, just let it drain out. So that's what we're going to do. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty damn hot too. Okay, got that bag out of there. I got both my burners turned up all the way, and you're supposed to let it get to a rolling boil and add your extracts, and it's already starting to boil up here a little bit, so maybe I'll just add a little bit and slowly let it get. Okay, let's see how this turned out. Oh yeah, pouring right out. There's one. I'll set it back in the thing here to heat it up a little bit maybe. Go ahead and add my second one in here. It's rolling out here, so okay, so we're going to bring this to a boil. It's been churning for probably 20 minutes. Temperature is about 190 going on 200. I'm gonna add some of the dry malt extract in there and stir it in and just slowly add it. It's happening. Ooh, it smells real good too. Okay, I added the rest of the malt. It's dissolving in there just nice and fine, and ooh boy, too bad you didn't have smell-o-vision. Smells good. Looks like beer. So far so good. Okay, I'm going to add a couple things here while it's coming to a nice boil. Sitting about 200 degrees. This is a 10-gallon pot. The guy at the brew shop suggested it if I do whole grain brews and just starting out. But this extract kit is made to do 5 gallons. Well, right here where the temperature probe is, it's about 4 gallons, a little bit over 4 gallons. And then I just added some extract in there, so the level's coming up. So the only thing that I can think that might screw me later is when I put this in my 5-gallon fermenter. But that's my secondary fermenter. The first fermenter I have is 7.5 gallons, so that's not going to be a problem. So we'll see how it goes. But I did fill it up to the thermometer, so I could use the damn thermometer. But just something to think about when you're buying your pot. Other than that, so far. Okay, as per the instructions, wrote down the time, 40 minutes. Got my hop pellets. I'm following the brew schedule. And I don't know what a gentle roll is, but that looks gentle to me. So here we go. Okay. Oh yeah, she's a boiling up now. Very nice. Oh yeah. Smells real good too. Okay, it's a going. Just to give you a temperature, we're at about 215 degrees. Oh, by the way, before I use this, I did sanitize it. Sanitize everything. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Look at her go. One of the nightmares they told me at the brew shops in some videos was, don't let it boil over. Get you a bigger pot. So I got this 10-gallon. I don't think I'm going to have a problem of it boiling over. It's full blast, full burners, about 215, and a nice little foam on there, but fat chances of boiling over. Another thing is they were worried about caramel sticking to the bottom of the pot. I've been running my spoon back and forth in there, and there's nothing sticking, so pretty confident it's going the way it's supposed to go. Gonna let this boil for 40 minutes, and then I'm gonna add the other hops, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, sticking with the brew schedule. The first hops were in there for 40 minutes, and I've got the Australian hops. That was a killer 40 minutes. My pot seems to be working great. I've had the gentle rolling boil as it suggests. I've had both burners on full blast, and seems like the hottest it gets is about 216. So I guess that's working out too. So I'm going to add the secondary hops in here, and they boil for 20 more minutes. So smells a little bit like green tea, a little bit, but smells good nonetheless. So gonna wait another 20 minutes, and then we're going to try to cool this thing down with my homemade wort chiller. It's about 10 minutes before my last hop boil. They suggest putting your wort chiller in there and getting it boiled up. Helps sanitize a little bit. So I stuck it in there. Just happen to have a little outside kitchen over here, and I put quick disconnects from Harbor Freight on the hose. It's a 3/8 inch copper pipe, 25 foot, 3/8 inch clear, and we're going to cool it down with the warm Florida tap water, which only gets about 78 or 80 degrees. After that, I'm going to put in a bucket of ice packs and try to get it down to 60 degrees, so hopefully that works. Okay, I'm up to step 5. I boiled it for a whole hour. That was like watching paint dry. So it says terminate boil, and then you turn the page. Cool wort to transfer, step 6. So we're going to cool it down. Going to get down to 60 degrees. I've got a wort chiller, and then I'll put in my fermenter. So let's see. Okay, it's still about 2:15. I'm going to shut my propane off down here, and we're going to start the chiller. So off goes the fire. Just went off. Okay, I'm going to take this off. My spoon, I got it in there. I'm going to turn this on over here. And watch her go. Hot water shooting out of this thing. I'm going to try not to kill my plants here. So it's going. Let's see what it is. It's 215 degrees. And let's see how long it takes. Okay, well, it's been on for less than 2 minutes, and it's already dropped the temperature. I'm watching it drop right here, so it's going pretty quick. As soon as it plateaus, I'm going to do the ice bucket and drop it down to 60. So it's got a 5-gallon bucket. I froze some bottles of water and ice. Got some ice packs in here. I went to Harbor Freight and bought this $15 fountain pump, which is recommended by several brewers, home brewers. So they said it works great. So I'm about to find out. I went ahead and put a quick disconnect on here. I'm going to unhook it from the hose, hook it over here, and drop it. And it is down to 170 already. Not even 5 minutes. So tick-tock. Okay, been waiting about 25 minutes. It's kind of bottomed out at 120 degrees. I'm going to try my ice bucket chiller. Filling it up with some water, and gonna plug it in here in just a second. Okay, my ice chiller, I hooked it up. About 10 minutes, went to 110 degrees, so it's definitely working. I've heard this taking up to an hour. Well, I hope not. Okay, my chiller's working. About 10 minutes it dropped 20 degrees, so just seeing how it goes here. I got the water circulating down here right through all the ice, and it is dropping, and it's getting late, so tick. Okay, I'm trusting my food thermometer, and it says 60 degrees right on the button. My thermometer on here shows a little under 70, which is semi-concerning, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. 60 degrees, flat up. I trust my food thermometer. Okay, my wort's at 60. I got my spigot in here. It's been sanitized, going into my fermentation bucket. So this is another nice feature of this thing here. So we're going to fill it up. It says to fill it up to 5 gallons. And I'm following instructions here, but I'm going to dump this in here first. Okay, there's still some down in here. I'm going to try to get it in there without getting that crap in there, which is at the bottom. Okay, I did the step 6. I cooled it down to 60 degrees. I just double checked it with my food thermometer. And I have my hygrometer in there. And I need to add some water. So let me do that. It says you're supposed to be between 1.052 and 1.056. I am at 1.070, so I got to add some water to dilute it a little bit. So let me do that. Okay, I've got it in the ferment bucket. Got my food thermometer here, checking it again. It is right at 60 degrees, so that worked out good. And I have my sanitized hygrometer in here, and it's supposed to be 1.52. It is, can't really see it, but it is right on it. So I'm going to stop there. The bucket's got a line for 5 gallons right here. It is right below there, so I'm going to go ahead and put some yeast in. Okay, I'm now on step 6. It says pitch the yeast. Sprinkle the contents of the yeast over the top of the entire surface. Do not rehydrate. Stir well with my spoon. Put the lid on. Put the airlock on. And put to my cool, lager specific temperature stable area, which I will show you in a minute. Well, I stirred it for a few minutes. I guess that's what it's supposed to look like. It's doing whatever. Here's my lid. I'm going to stick that on there, and we'll put some grain alcohol in there for airlock, and stick her in the fermenter. Okay, put a little corn squeeze in my airlock. That should kill anything, right? Okay, not really a good shot of my fermenter, but it's an old monster cooler. Fits the bucket. Got the airlock up there. It's got a glass door. Don't worry, it's a dark room. And got it set at 55 degrees. I've got the external Johnson thermostat on here, and I've had it plugged in for a week. It's been holding temperatures great. So here's my secondary fermentation jug. So I will check back in 10 to 14 days, give you some progress. I got the thermometer on the bucket. Maybe get a little better, not so dark pictures. Okay, just to give you an idea, I started at 2:30, just flat out pulling everything out at 2:30, and now it's 6:30. So it took 4 hours to do everything up to the point of putting it in the fermentation chamber. So that's it. We'll check back in 10 to 14 days. Put it in secondary fermentation. See how it goes. Well, it's been 24 hours. Just want to give a little update here on the number 9 on the instructions here. Fermentation. It says it will begin to ferment within 48 hours, and you'll notice CO2 releasing out of the airlock. Well, I got my airlock in there, and I was just watching it, and it is gurgling in there. So it's been 24 hours, and it is started to do its thing. I got the thermometer here, it's 55 degrees. I got my thermometer here, it's at 54, 55, so the temperature is right. And I don't know if you got a good picture of this the other day, but this is a old monster cooler I have, and picked it up real cheap, and with the external Johnson controls mechanical, seems to hold temp. I put it at 55 and it stays at 55, kicks off and on. So there it is. It seems to be working. I'll check back in about 10 days when it quits. Okay, just gonna get a little update here. It's been 7 days exactly, so I'm just checking the bubbling going on in here. It's slowed down quite a bit. So the instructions say 10 to 14 days. I'm thinking more 10 days than 14, but it's slowed down quite a bit. So maybe the next 3 days or so we'll be able to change it to the secondary fermentation. So just a little update. Well, I am on step 6. Taking a little sample. It's been 12 days of fermenting. It's pretty much stopped bubbling. I'm gonna check it. Supposed to check it for 2 days, make sure it's the same. It's supposed to be at 1.016, and right now it's at 1.018. So the color looks good. Smells really good. But I just took a little sample out of the ferment bucket, out of the little spigot. Pretty easy to do, and should be transferring to the glass carboy here next day or two. So far so good. Well, it's day 12. I'm on step 9. It's been 12 days. There's been pretty much 2 days of no bubbles. And I'm doing a little test here, and it's supposed to be at 1.016, and that's exactly where it is. It's been, I checked it yesterday, as 1.16, so it says make sure it quits bubbling, check it 2 days in a row, and then go to the secondary fermentation, which I'm about to do. I got my fermenter bucket here. I'll hook my hose here. I have my sanitized 5-gallon carboy here, and then I'm going to throw it back in the fermenter for another couple weeks, about 35, 38 degrees, something like that. See whatever it comes out to be. So I'm going to get this hooked up. We're going to drain it off. Oh, pull that out.
What?
Just pull it straight out.
That thing?
Yeah. Okay, just draining it right out of the fermenter bucket. It's just draining away here. It's got really good color. Just gonna probably drain it to here. Make sure there's no sediment in here. So there it goes. Be a couple minutes. Finish draining it, just tilting it enough. I don't want to get any more crap in there than I need to, but it's got a nice little layer on the bottom like it's supposed to, and almost ended up with a full jug down here. So let me get it up in light. I got almost a full 5 gallons, a little bit short of course from taking out for samples, but I've got my sanitized cork back in here and my bubbler, and I'm going to stick it back in my fermentation chamber, better known as the monster cooler, for about 35 degrees for a couple more weeks, I guess. So far so good. We're on step 10 of the instructions. The next time we'll be bottling it up. So there you go. She's all put to bed in the monster cooler. Got it all set. I'm gonna close it up, cover it up, so see what happens in a couple weeks. I'll test the gravity and see what happens. So it's been 2 weeks in the secondary lagering stage. 38 to 40 degrees basically is what it's been going. It's been 2 weeks and I've been checking my final gravity, and the color is really nice, and it's at the high end of the final gravity at 1.016. So, oh, there's some color there. Looks really good. I'm going to check it again tomorrow. I don't think it's gonna change a whole lot, and I'm going to bottle here, I think, in the next day or two. So just a little update. It's looking good, just following the instructions. It's been 3 weeks on my secondary primary fermentation. I got about an inch and a half of the trub down there. I think that's what they call it, trub. But I'm on step 11 and I'm going to bottle up today. I've got my bottle caps getting sanitized here. I've already sanitized all my utensils I'm going to use. I've got my bucket down here. Got my bottles. Getting ready to boil my priming sugar here. So just be a few minutes and we will start bottling for the first time. So far so good. Boiling that for 5 minutes and then I'm going to dump it in the bucket. It's been 5 minutes and it's definitely boiling. Going to dump it in the bucket. Sorry for being so dark, but it's just the way it is. Got my siphon in the carboy, about ready to dump it down in the bucket. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The transfer is going well. It's coming right on down. 5 gallons. I'll go ahead and empty out the carboy. Just emptied it all from there down to there. Okay, the transfer was successful. It says to stir for 1 minute. So stirring 1 minute. Gonna be bottling in just a minute. Okay, got it hooked up. We're filling some bottles. Putting the light on here. It's filling right here. Gonna bring it up to the top. And then stop, and then you bring the tube out and it gives you about an inch and a half of airspace up there. Perfect. Okay, you're going to take the cap. It's been sanitized. Stick it on the capper. Put it on the bottle. Bam! 1 down, 30 or 40 to go. One case down, 1.5 to go. These are the 22-ounce bottles, so that's why it's going to be around 25 to 30. Otherwise, if I was using the small bottles, it'd be 50 bottles. So that's what I decided to do. Bottling is complete. I have 2 cases of 24 total 22-ounce bottles. Then I had a little left over, so I had 4 16-ounce bottles. So always have enough bottles, I guess. I should have got 1 more case. But we're going to try her out. 10 more days. Well, it's been about 10 weeks for my first brew, my first lager. I'm going to pop one open. Got my little 22-ounce bottle. A little fizz there. I'll pour a little bit in my little glass here. Oh, nice little head. Let's give it a shot. Not too bad. Tastes and looks a little bit like Yingling, which is kind of what we were thinking. So I think it turned out. While I was doing this, I went ahead and made a Belgian Pale Ale. Bottled it today, about 30 bottles. So not going to do any more videos on the brewing, just more of the technique. In the process of building a bar right now. So cheers! Don't be scared of the lager.